Since childhood, I have been fascinated with language. I want to write legends of my own.
Tell me a story.
It's about adventures, the quests we take to prove ourselves.
Stay alive and come back to me.
It's about the deepest parts of the human heart. A magic beyond anything anyone has ever felt before.
Tolkien, in cinemas May 3rd.
My heart rages around like an ocean in my head, because there are so many things that I left unsaid.
Hello. Right. Gearhead 041. Inspired by Tron. I can see you've got areas where you've actually edited the normals as well as other settings on the actual material with your texture input. So I like that you've not just gone with a straight color input and left all of the settings the same. Hello, Austin. I like the reflections in the floor. I think that's great. I think... yeah, these are all just normals changed. You haven't edited the mesh at all on any of these areas here. That's just literally material work. Very nice. I like the separation you have here, otherwise it'd look a bit samey. I like this and this. I think... oh yeah, I like the squares. That really steps it up a bit. I like that. Not sure why... ah, there I can see the sphere. Yeah, you've used a UV sphere, and I think you've smooth shaded it. Well, I could dank up if you want me to, but that's a special occasion. I think if you used just a regular, it's like subdivided cube instead of a UV sphere, or smooth shaded it, you wouldn't get this pinching, as I think you've used a UV sphere and its poles are at the top and bottom. Yeah, it makes sense if it's underneath it as well. But yeah, the materials are very nice. I think it's just possibly the smooth shading. I think if you were able to get this in like a seamless texture, like with the just regular subdivided cube, or possibly just I know you can put two wave textures together and you can sort of like crisscross them, and then you get an effect like this, where it's like pinched leather. So I think you could possibly do something along the lines of that. If it's going straight Tron you're looking for, then I think you've done quite a good job. It's just the issue with that. The render itself is quite nice. I like the floor and the blurring lights. If you were to try and apply these the textures and or materials to, say, a robot or a panel on some sort of big machine, I think that would really help it in a bit more context. But as it's just materials go, I think it's done a quite nice job. If you're just playing around with them, then that's pretty good. I know that this one is just like brick texture and Veroni mixed in the vectors, but it's an interesting way of looking at them. Right, I think that's all I have to say. Well done. Right, HP 2009 or 2009. There's incredible amounts of noise on this. Might be that it's blurry as well. I'm not sure. There seems to be uniform noise everywhere. I'm not sure if that's just like compression of Discord or something. I faintly see smoke. Is that what it's supposed to be? Steam coming off of the side of this? Not sure. There's tiny specks of something. I feel like they're on purpose. I'm not sure. But disregard that. Just have a look at your clamping settings and check for denoising and see if you could optimize the scene a bit better like that. But in terms of materials, they look really nice. The glass looks really good. I like the effect. I like this texture. That's really nice. The fruit seems very flat. I don't think you've actually cut out a bit here, which is possibly what you could have done to make it look a lot more like it's sitting inside the mug. Like just make a triangle wedge out of it or stretch it a little bit. Usually these twists, they're not just like complete straight circles, they would like twist and go out a bit and then come back in. Maybe just something like that to give it a bit more realism. But otherwise, the liquid looks great. The tea bag looks incredibly rigid and just white. I imagine it'd be really hard to make a tea bag material. Actually, that seems quite a challenge. The spoon looks nice. I really like the way it curves into the glass. Obviously, very glassy material. This looks lovely as well. And you've got an actual different liquid here because of the honey. Yeah, it's very nice. The textures are good as well. Like the wood is by far the clearest part of the render, and it's pretty well made. Yeah, I think this is just an HDRI in the background. Probably why it's blurry. But yeah, I can see that you're trying to go for the very short focus, focusing on these two. The composition is nice, and I think it's working. Well, I presume it's tea. Pretty sure it's a tea bag, yeah. I like the jar model. I like that this is thicker here and thinner as it goes down. That's very nice. Yeah, it's just incredibly fuzzy. I don't know if that's just compression being weird, but I can't be sure. But otherwise, everything else looks great. Done a really nice job with that. Do you not know what these specs are? I think they sort of add to it, because it's trying to go for a little bit more of a grimy look, I think. Because otherwise it would be very, very clean, everything. So I think you've done a good job with that. The glass is pretty immaculate, so you may want to have, like, I don't know, some smudges or fingerprints on it. But you might have, and I just can't tell because of the noise. It's yeah, like an old photo. Still very good. But those are my comments anyway. Yeah, nice one. Right. Archaeonic. New to 3D. Could have fooled me. Hang on, let me... New to 3D, been self-learning Blender 3.5 weeks, and did a Blender Guru tutorial on the donut and the anvils. Then a few random ones and achieved this project. Took me about 2.5 weeks to make. Well, that must have been a solid 2.5 weeks, Jesus. Yeah, this... The bin crinkles look a bit like just like a normal map on it, and probably crinkle up the edges a bit, but that's an incredibly minor thing. I want to just stress, I'm gonna like nitpick probably because that's the only thing I can do, but it's incredibly well done. Like the fact that these headphones are recycled, like here and here, you've got them in a different position every single time. You've got like the wire dangling a different way. I like how that wire dangles. All of these different things. I don't know why there's a salt and pepper shaker here. Yeah, the stream is uploaded to YouTube afterwards, so you can watch it later. Yeah, I like the Gantt chart is the same on every board, but the tape is also in the same formation on every single one. I know that's like incredibly, like, such small things, but this thing is like, this kind of ultra realism is like made or broken on its really small details. John Smith, ha. And the keyholes look a bit odd. Might just be the resolution. Is that John Smith as well? Cannot tell. Oh, different height desks. Different stuff on the table. This coffee looks nice. Like, every single one of these assets could make their own individual render as well. That's a really good I've even got screenshots of Google on a certain day. Windows machines. The chairs, I think, are fine, really. Well, they might be matte screens, they don't have to be that bright. I think it's just clear. They're quite thick, though. They probably... I don't know if you've made the, like, built it off of, like an existing monitor design. Like, I'm pretty sure you've built all the rest of the computers and the keyboards and the mice off of, like, existing mice and keyboard designs, but this doesn't look like a real monitor to me. The edges look like it's just too smooth. But the wires, the detail of the wires, the, like, plug sockets, there's even unused Ethernet ports. This must have been, like, a proper office you worked in to have it all detailed like this. The chairs are basically faultless. I think that's touching the floor a bit. Very nice. I don't understand the obsessive amount of kitchen roll in the office. Ooh, hang on. You got smudges on the glass planes? I think you have. Oh, that's nice. Lighting, I think, is pretty great. It looks like it's lit from a bunch of headlights at the top. They're all just straight. And I think that really works for the office feel. Oh, I've even got, like, plates in the bin. Like, different people have got different things in the bin. Very good. I feel like this area is supposed to be glass, and you've just had like nothing behind it, because it feels like it should be glass. Yeah, that's that nice smudging on there. Like the brackets are good. Can't see what's wrong with that. Well, yeah, you could have a go at the like as someone in the chat said, you could play with the lighting and give it some different kind of feel. Possibly, because once you've got all this stuff done, it's very easy to just play around with the materials and lighting. Just have a little bit of a play with it, make it like a dark, bleak office or a ultra bright and intense office. That'd be cool. But like, as what you've gone for now is amazing. It's tiny cappuccino, brilliant. No mouse mats. Not much else to say, really. I think my one major thing would be having a look at these monitors' frames, because it feels like they're not the shape they need to be, or if you have a reference to a monitor that looks like that, then fair enough, but I just don't see them being looking like that. Yeah, that and the tape on the corners of each of these are the same on every single cubicle, possibly. There's nothing really to complain about. Everything is brilliant. Very well done. I will congratulate Archeonic, I think. But yeah, if that's what you're doing when you're new, then keep going. Right, Radrigo, new to 3D as well. It's a really nice cartoony telly. Materials, bit Firefly. Have a look at like denoising for that. The legs, I feel like they should be they're going to a point, but they go through the floor. Possibly just move the floor down a bit and get those on the screen. But that's if they do have that. I don't really know. I think this is not smooth shaded, or if it is, it's lit really extreme. Yeah, I don't think this is smooth shaded. Might want to have a look at that or make it smoother. The cables are really nice. I like how they're twisting. Don't know if that's actually gone inside. I think that's just not capped off at all. You might want to put a face on there to stop it going in, or better yet, some hole, like a face with holes in it to show that the cables are actually going into something. Yeah, the lighting is a bit, just one spotlight up here. I feel like it's yeah, not doing it justice, like I said in the chat. I think you could, because this is obviously some kind of absurd television model, you could have a go at making the antenna cartoony crinks in them, because people would bend them up quite a lot. Possibly have something on these dials to show what they do. I think. Yeah, these aren't proper squares. Possibly have a go at trying to even these out with bevels to make it an actual square, so that the faces don't stretch. So it's a nice design. I'd be interested to see what context it was supposed to be in, or if it had any in the first place. Yeah, as a standalone render, it's probably not the best way to portray this model, but as it goes, it's a decent approach. Pretty nice, especially for being new to 3D. It's a great start. I like when people try and get creative with it. Right, is there anything else? No, they just said new to 3D and Blender. Right, let's continue. Right, VG by Adobe. I don't know if I have to pay Adobe to critique this then. I believe this is, yep, the icon. I think this is their like simplistic block character, but with a particle effect on it. I think it looks quite nice. There's not much to say about it. I think as a single image, it's not much wrong with it. The balls and the black background, fine. I think if you wanted to improve this, you could possibly have a go at animating it, say have the balls come apart, or reverse the effect so that the balls will come and make it up. Something to look into. I think this is just a black material and a black background, because I don't see any dots on the behind the model, because I think they're changing size as they go further back. But yeah, it's pretty good. I don't know if you use the volume or surface effect. I think these are balls that are put on the surface, and then you've just blackened the model and then blacked the background and then rendered it. Still a pretty nice effect. Be cool to see it in motion, because the simplistic shapes and materials don't really do anything for just a single static render. Yeah, pretty nice VG. Another one from rybread. Alien spaceship and a walking telly. It's very nice. Seems to be, yes, there's some kind of pinching here as you're making a shape inside what is probably just a flat circle, and it's like pulling all these apart. There's some yeah, seeing it in reference to the previous animation or previous render. Yeah, probably go at like dancing or some sort of motion. Yep, I would have a look at the lighting course that Blender Guru is currently making. That would probably help with showing this model off a bit, because it is quite dark and fairly noisy. But yeah, with modelling, since you're new, you can have a look at the like various hard surface tips. So I think if you were to try and do this on a model and have it stay in its correct shape, you could have a look at the corrective smooth modifier. You could look at the cast modifier. You can what you could do is you could actually like make a model and shrink wrap it onto a like flat disc. So if you just make a flat disc and then have it dome shaped like that, and then you can add all your features on in another model and then shrink wrap it all to the surface. So have a look at like shrink wrap and corrective smooth modifiers. See if you can try and iron that out. And it also lets you play around with making surface details, like the balls on the side. And like the eye and the alien design, it's very nice. Yeah, I can see a small crown where you probably did triangle fan on the sphere. I think it's very cute. Nice one, Rodrigo. Alright. Terrainer. Another person I probably have to pay before I can look at that name. So apparently there was a comment with this. Oh yeah, rendered in Eevee. So, I think this is making use of the nebula effect that you can do in Eevee now that's very, very cheap for render costs. I think these are all images. I don't know if they're actually models in the scene. But I really like the, they're all in different shapes, they're all like actually flying across. It's really nice. I like the well, the composition. I mean, it's sort of technically in the third. Yeah. Usually, yeah, I think there's a bird behind it, and I don't think it's casting a shadow through, and I think this does have like subsurface scattering or some kind of translucency material that's pushing through light from this, and there's probably a crossing the side. I think that's right. Alright, golden. Golden ratio, that is. Seems too small. But anyway, let's go to the clouds. So, I think if you were to try and add a bit more depth to these birds, because they all seem to be on the same plane, because I can see all of them in like the same clarity. They're not going into the distance, and to help that, you'd probably be able to put some clouds in front of it. See if you can like force some blocks of nebula in front of it. But as the clouds go, they're very wispy and very nice. I do like the oh, it's just a single PNG. Well, that doesn't mean you can't separate them out. So chop the PNG up and then put single planes here, here, and here, or just prop in the background. It's like, yeah, it's fine for a single render. I don't know if this background is 3D. I think it seems to be going through the clouds. It looks to be. Yeah, there's bits going behind it. Quite like that. I think the colours are nice. It's going blue and red here. I think you could do with more of the rim effect. So the like outlining the clouds a bit more with a rim sort of helps the light come through. There was a video for Nebula for 2.8 and DV. I think that mentioned that a lot. But yeah, there's a lot of tips for that kind of thing. I imagine it's quite hard to get right. But the wispiness is bit confusing. These mountains seem to go down to the ground there. The nebula thing I'm referring to is there's a video on Nebula, which someone made for Blender 2.8 and Eevee. So it's just basically just a clouds video. So it goes over all of the rules and probably tips to cover in making a cloud look like more like a real cloud with this sort of thing, and it goes over the nodes for it. But yeah, what I was saying was I think that these clouds sort of like curve into the camera. I don't know if they're actually going back into the scene. But they are very well made and on their own, as disregard of everything else, but I think the picture in itself is very well. It's still like I really like the colours still, the blue and the white, and the blue and the red. I think if you try this next time, probably have a look at using the clouds more sparingly, because I can't really get a look at these mountains, and the mountains look quite nice. Okay, denser as they get closer. It'd probably help if you add some more context to how high these mountains are, because it feels like this here is the entire mountain and there's ground just down here. Oh, there was another video in the chat, I think. Yeah. But yeah, very nice terrain. Alright, I'll move on. Joris or Joris? Just said lamp. Well, the lamp looks very nice. I really like the structure around it. All of the lines and structures. I don't know what the lamp looks like on the outside. I imagine there's some reference that you're using for it. But that thing I think is solid, and I wouldn't change that. I like the lighting on the inside. I would say that there's quite a bit of noise going on inside the bulb itself. I imagine that's probably something you could fix with the Blender tutorial on the light bulbs. You may have made the light bulb using that tutorial. I really like the filament. Like the coiled wire. Looks very small. I think you've nailed the looking of it, like making it look small. And I don't know if there's some sort of I don't think this is an HDRI. In the lighting of the light bulb, possibly. It looks like they're just squares and circles. It might be studio lighting. It kind of looks like there's a lamp here and then there's a tripod here. Possibly. It could just be the frame around it. Don't know. I would like to see what this would do if it was on, or if you could get like a view of the lamp on the outside. There's just not much to go off on here. The render is nice, and I think the showing off the bulb and its like off state is really nice. Everything outside the some sort of post-processing, balancing up the colours. Yeah, probably playing with colour contrast in post, see what that does. Yeah, apart from the noise of the bulb, I don't really see what's wrong, anything wrong with this. There's just not much I can say about the frame itself. It looks very nice, looks very small. Like, it looks the part for a frame of a lamp. Good one, Yoris. Young Nut. So I remember seeing this in the work in progress. Yeah, Jabed Wild. I feel like I don't remember super clearly, but I think that this had more colors, or it was just brighter in the standalone render without the scene in the background. Obviously, the scene in the background is incredibly well made. I love the various plants that are all popping out, and they're not all the same plant. I think that's really nice. But there's, well, an argument could be made that it's trying to camouflage in its environment and whatever, but I think it's become it's sort of become part of the background instead of standing out from the background, so it makes it less clear to show off this lovely, lovely model. Those tiny lines of drool, that's a brilliant touch. These rocks, about as well made as everything else as well. Very nice. Nothing was ignored. I do feel like there's a lot of compression because I can see the squares that it's crushed it into. Yeah. It's a bit of a shame, but it's still a really good model, really good render. I like the pose. The pose is quite nice. Yeah, well, there is sort of sunlight going through the trees. There's some god rays here. I can see that, but it's possible. It might just be that this is the environment scene. I think you could play around with like a pedestal render as well, where you just light it like with studio lighting HDRI. Yeah, shafts of light. The trees look very similar. I feel like this is exactly the same as this tree. You could call them god shafts if you want to. I know what you're doing. That rock in general, really nice. The background going in, like going back, is really good. It makes the scene feel like it's got depth. I really like that. There's a lot of really well made stuff here. I think it's just a bit let down by the lighting. But materials, textures, mesh, rig was, I think you remember showing the rig was pretty good, but he did use auto weights. Yeah. It's basically brilliant, fine, immaculate. Can't see what much wrong with this. Render's pretty nice. Yeah, good work. Young Nut. Young Nuts with your god shafts. Temmie. Temmie with an incredibly clean render of a heart. But there's a few tiny bumps where I think the model is slightly deformed. I like the drips. The drips look very nice. There's like smaller drips. I think you could possibly have one in progress dripping. I like the colour change down here to up here. I think possibly looking into some smoothing out the mesh so that these tiny bumps disappear. But other than that, the render's really nice. Reminds me of those adverts for like perfume or lipstick where they have everything dripping down and into a soup. Maybe that's just me. I think that's advertisement specifically in Birmingham. Yeah, there's just the tiny smoothing areas. Like, I can't see any mesh changing. I think you've just moved it with a lot of mesh to oblivion. No problem. Have a nice sleep. Thank you for watching. Yeah, your clouds are very nice. Sorry, I forgot for a second. Yeah, not much else to say about this. There's the gradient, I think, is sort of possibly noisy. Not sure. It's probably quite easy to re-render in Eevee or something. But yeah, very nice. Good job, Timmy. That's everyone. Let's see if there are any more added. Ooh, yes. Alright. I shall add those. Right. Oh, one's a YouTube video. Oh no, I did do your dinosaur just now, so I think I've reposted it. Yeah, they deleted the original one. Right, there's a few more. I'm gonna cut it off there. So if you want your thing roasted, next time will be the time you have to wait for. Yeah. So I've just gathered all the new renders, but I won't be doing any more after that. Just they'll have to wait till next week. So. I can put this all in the same one actually. Right. Yes, I'll be doing yours, hybrid. Just setting all up. Don't know how I'm going to do this video. Haven't done a video before. Not sure how I'd do it. Can't be on YouTube. I will just describe it. I will come back to that one. Alright, so I'll do the animation after this, but all the tank stuff is made by Cobra PR. I shall now have a look at it. Right. Looks like there's some bumps here that go underground. I imagine that's just like a hitbox sort of thing with how you've set up the physics. The tank treads look great. I feel like this is all built up very painstakingly referenced off of some existing tank. Looks very nice. The metal looks pretty good. You would probably need some bevel on these edges because they're very, very sharp. Think, yeah, these probably don't have any bevel. There's some bevel like here and on some other edges. This needs some smoothing, I think, just a little bit. No, not the ones that like change the shape, because probably the shape is accurate, but you need to add in bits of bevel just to make it look a bit more real. Like, you don't want complete harsh edges on everything or anything at all, really. Tank itself looks great. I don't think there's a lot of mechanical error. I think everything looks fine. I wouldn't know much about tank construction anyway. The materials are good. I would say it's quite hard to tell yeah, lighting could be a bit better. I feel like adding a bit more shine to the background, or a light coming in from behind or below, that'd be quite nice. The dusty metal seems to be sandy. There's like sanded metal, yeah, there's bits in there, that's pretty good. I don't know what to add to that or change it. I can see there's a bit of a repeating texture here, or a bit of a rusty texture. But there's a lot of caring attention to the metal and the detail. Very nice. Right. Next one, which is also by Cobra PR. Yeah, this is a lot more nice with the lighting. Ooh, first model. Yeah. Yeah, I can. This does look like a monster of a model. But yeah, I like the lighting a lot more on this side. I can see the shines in the metal, and I can see the difference in. Oh, there's even like wing mirrors. This is a lot nicer. I like the tracks are actually deforming. They're all physics simmed. The 12 million tries. Wow. I think this is it's not this model. It's the one of the other ones. Yeah, no. All my points still stand. I think this is a much better angle, if probably not a very good render because everything else is in it. But as for the physics simulation, I'm just going to watch that. It's I wonder, can I switch this in live? Is this gonna work? Nope. This does not look like it's gonna work. Right, I'll just the physics sim I think looks great. The wheels all bob. I think there's a bit of a collision issue with the ground, but that's otherwise great. The tank head moving at the same time. Oh, and it's going like rotating as well. It's pretty damn amazing. Very good. Right, next we have Parallel Mayhem with their tree. Sorry, I'm just struggling with streaming stuff everywhere. Right. The leaves look great. I don't exactly know what leaf it's trying to imitate or what tree it's trying to imitate, but the tree itself looks good. There's a bit of a weird issue where this is thicker than here, and I believe that trees have always got thicker branches at the root of the branch. Branches I think are good, they're sort of randomly distributed. I like the like random orientation of the branches and the leaves. It's very like real. It doesn't look like a generic tree where it's just bushy all around and it's just a big circle, but this one looks a lot like it's actually grown out of something. I would have a look at some of the areas where branches are connecting to make it look a bit more realistic, so it looks like it's holding up the weight. I like the material on it, that looks really good, and that works for it. The way these leaves darken as well, really good. Yeah, the leaves are very rich. The colour as well, the whites in the back and the dark greens in the middle, very good. I don't think there's anything detached or floating. It looks all connected to me. Very nice. Don't know if it's done with Eevee or Cycles, but either way, they're really, really well made tree. There's even random branches where they have no leaves on the bottom. Yeah, this in context of something would look great. But yeah, that's basically fine, Parallel Mayhem. Can't wait to see that and used in something or taken further. Right, these are all the same person, so Manavik Ray. So start with the default mesh. This not lining up with this bit here, does it change in the later ones? Kind of works. But the lip here caused by so there's a seam here, then there's a tiny bit of lip of material going up when it's about to get cut anyway. Oh yeah, cheating is never... you shouldn't be shamed for cheating with 3D models and rendering. If you can get away with it, then do it. It's only an issue if it comes to like games or software where it matters. You can see there's a bit of a mesh change here as you add in the circle. I think this is all because you're booleaning shapes out, and I think the issue is that they're making very sharp edges. I think you could possibly get away with making this in the mesh, or yeah, displacement. Or yeah, if this is a displacement map, you can paint that a bit closer. I don't know where this comes from then. Might just be the screenshot. Seems a bit strange. Maybe that's just denoising. I don't know why this is all wobbly. It seems like it would be a mesh issue. These lights, yeah, they're square lights. They seem to be different sizes. Alright, denoising. Yeah, never mind then. If the mesh is solid, then ignore that. Okay, this seems smooth now. It might have just been weird render. The material looks decent. The bump is pretty nice. I think you could have put more like grime in the middle, just to make it look like it's actually been a seam. Because I feel like this metal is supposed to be a bit more dirty. I think there's slightly made it darker in here, but I think they could have some creeping material coming out of that. The light is pretty basic. I would probably want to see a shine on it, or like a glass render. Because it seems to just be an emission material, whereas it's not like a bulb. See, I like the like bouncing around the side of that, and I like the scratches inside. Very good. Though I think you'd probably have more scratches on the corners and areas in here rather than in the centre of this thing, which is probably harder to get to. Yeah, there seems to be some grime building around the corners. I think, is this supposed to be a grenade? Oh, thermal detonator. Right, the detail seems way too small to be handheld. I think you'd probably make this a bit bigger, this texture. And yeah, this would definitely have like some kind of shine in it. You probably just copy an LED or some sort of small light to try and get an effect like that. I'm pretty sure there's some tutorials online for that. I like this plastic, this is good. I like that there's building up of grime around the corners in here, that's good. Smooth edges. I really like the lighting as well, from the left and the right. Wrong way around. Very good. I do quite like this render with all of the hash lines. Make it look like a hologram or view of some kind. Maybe move the lights up and down. Oh, okay, you have to like pop it in and out. Okay, that's interesting. I like the so apparently you meant to pop it open or close, like pull this entire hemisphere up or down to activate the bomb. Interesting. I think there's a bit of noise here. But yeah, other than the lights being, probably needs some shine and some glass on it. I think everything else is pretty great. Got a very nice model here. And with that, I am done with the roast. So yeah, thank you very much everyone for posting, and very good work all around really. And no one should be upset or angry at anything I've said, just take on board whatever happens and keep improving. Good job to everyone.